So get this. My pregnant sister-in-law tried to take over our beach house room and then claimed my husband is the father of her baby. Crazy, right? Okay, let me backtrack a bit. I'm a 28-year-old woman married to Ryan, who's 30, and we've been together for 5 years. We have a wonderful but very challenging 3-year-old daughter, Emma. Emma is autistic and nonverbal, so our lives are all about maintaining routines that keep her feeling safe. Even minor changes can lead to major meltdowns, so we're super careful with our environment, especially when we're not at home. Every summer, Ryan's family rents this huge beach house for a 2-week vacation. This tradition has been going on for over a decade. The house has 5 bedrooms, a fancy master suite, 3 regular bedrooms, and a small room with bunk beds. Ryan's parents always grab the master suite, and the rest of us draw straws for the other rooms. It's a system that's worked okay over the years with everyone just accepting their luck. But this year, things went downhill fast. Ryan's older brother, Jason, 35, and his wife, Lisa, 33, announced they were expecting their first child. Lisa's been having a rough pregnancy, severe morning sickness, constant back pain, the whole shebang. They showed up at the beach house expecting to get one of the best rooms without drawing straws, citing Lisa's condition as the reason. Everyone agreed, but halfway through, Lisa decided to participate in the draw anyway. Ryan and I were cool with this, as long as we got a good space for Emma. We got lucky and landed the best regular bedroom, which has an ensuite bathroom and a killer ocean view. Perfect for Emma. The waves' sound soothes her, and with the ensuite bathroom, we didn't have to navigate shared spaces when she needed quiet time. Jason and Lisa ended up with the second best room, which, while not as nice, was still comfortable. Everything seemed fine, but knowing Lisa, things are never that simple. Quick backstory. Before I met Ryan, he and Lisa had a brief fling, one of those intense, short-lived summer romances. They ended things amicably, but there was undeniable chemistry. Now, fast forward 7 years, and Ryan's married to me while Lisa's married to his older brother, Jason. Yeah, awkward. Jason's not exactly a looker, but he pampers Lisa like crazy. Since Ryan and I started dating, Lisa's been a constant source of low-key competition. She always tries to one-up me, which is seriously exhausting. One Thanksgiving, Ryan praised me for landing a major client. I'm a graphic designer. And Lisa immediately bragged about her latest real estate deal closing for twice the commission. It was clear she was trying to overshadow my achievement with that smug little smile of hers. Ugh. Anyway, back to the beach house. We settled into our room smoothly, and Emma loved it. She spent lots of time by the window, happily watching the waves. But during dinner on the first night, Lisa started complaining about her room. The mattress was too firm, it was too noisy. The mosquito problem was unbearable. Jason then suggested that Ryan and I should switch rooms with them to make Lisa more comfortable. I was stunned. It wasn't just the request, but how it was assumed we'd comply without question. I politely declined, explaining how important it was for Emma to feel secure, especially in a new environment. Lisa's reaction was over the top. Red face, tears welling up, accusing me of being selfish and not caring about her pregnancy. Jason backed her up, acting like I was making things difficult on purpose. Ryan tried to mediate by suggesting a room switch halfway through the vacation, but Lisa refused. She claimed moving halfway through would be too stressful for her. The more Lisa talked, the clearer it became that this wasn't really about the room. It was about control. Lisa has a knack for turning situations to her advantage, using her emotions to sway others. And boy, did she lay it on thick this time. Living with Lisa for 2 weeks is going to be a real test of patience. I usually try to stay out of these things, but this time I couldn't back down. It wasn't just about standing up for myself. It was about standing up for Emma, who couldn't really speak up for herself. The argument blew up pretty fast. Lisa's tears quickly turned to anger, and she started accusing me of not caring about family and prioritizing my own comfort over hers. She even went as far as saying I was putting her baby's health at risk by making her sleep in a crappy room. Jason, who's usually the chill one, was all in on her side, calling me selfish right in front of everyone. Ryan's parents, who had been quietly listening, finally chimed in and sided with Lisa. They urged me to give up the room to keep the peace. I was stunned. It felt like everyone was ganging up on me, totally ignoring the fact that I was just trying to do what was best for Emma. I held my ground, saying we drew straws fair and square and that Emma's needs should come first. I also pointed out that Lisa was fine with her room until she saw ours. I started thinking this was all just one of her power plays to show she still had control over Ryan. That night, the tension in the house was thick. Ryan and I barely talked before bed. He was torn between supporting me and not wanting to upset his family. He got why I didn't want to switch rooms, but also felt bad for Lisa, considering her tough pregnancy. But I couldn't shake the feeling that this was more than just pregnancy hormones. It was classic Lisa, using her situation to get what she wanted, no matter the cost to others. The next day, we had planned a family outing to a nearby seaside town. The atmosphere was still tense as we piled into the cars, with Lisa giving me the silent treatment. The drive was awkward. Ryan tried to lighten the mood with some small talk, but no one was really feeling it. Once we got there, everyone split up to explore. Ryan, Emma, and I decided to check out the local aquarium, hoping it would be a nice distraction for Emma. She loves fish, and it seemed to work. She was mesmerized by all the colorful fish, and Ryan and I managed to relax a bit in the peaceful setting. But our little break didn't last long. We met up with the rest of the family for lunch, and that's when things started to go downhill. Lisa was in full passive-aggressive mode, complaining about everything from the weather to the food to the seating arrangements. She made sure to mention loudly how hard it was to walk around town in her condition and how exhausted she was, throwing pointed looks my way as if to say, "See what you're putting me through." Her words were dripping with venom, but coated in a sickly sweet tone that made it hard to call her out directly. When the waiter brought out the food, Lisa took one look at her plate and wrinkled her nose in disgust. "I can't eat this," she declared, pushing the plate away dramatically. "It's too greasy, and the smell is making me nauseous. I thought we'd go somewhere that caters to people with special needs," she added, glancing at her belly as if her pregnancy should be everyone's top priority. If I had the chance, running her over with my car might have shown her the true meaning of special needs. Jason immediately called over the waiter and demanded a new dish, something more suitable for a pregnant woman. The poor waiter looked flustered, but apologized and hurried off to make the changes. Lisa shot me a triumphant look like she'd won some unspoken battle. The rest of the meal was super uncomfortable. Every time someone tried to change the subject to something neutral, Lisa dragged it back to her pregnancy and how tough everything was. It was clear she was milking the situation for all it was worth, trying to make me feel guilty for not switching rooms. After lunch, we walked along the boardwalk, but the tension between Lisa and me was off the charts. She made a big show of walking slowly with exaggerated steps, stopping frequently to rest and sighing dramatically to make sure everyone noticed how tired she was. Jason hovered around her like an overprotective nurse, offering water, asking if she needed to sit down, and glaring at anyone who didn't jump to help. Ryan noticed my frustration and squeezed my hand, giving me a small, supportive smile. He knew how hard it was for me to keep my cool with Lisa's constant digs, but I could tell he was also worried about his family's opinion and didn't want things to get worse. I appreciated his support, but part of me wished he would just tell Lisa off. She was being unreasonable, and it was wearing on everyone's nerves. Back at the beach house, the tension only got worse. Lisa's complaints about her room became a constant background noise. She didn't just grumble to Jason. She made sure to mention it loudly whenever Ryan's parents were around, casting me as the villain who was making her suffer. Ryan's parents, always the peacemakers, started dropping hints that maybe we should reconsider switching rooms. "It's just for a few days," his mom said gently over breakfast. "And Lisa's pregnant, dear. She needs her rest. You and Ryan are young. You can handle a little discomfort." I wanted to scream. How could they not see that this was exactly what Lisa wanted? She was manipulating everyone into feeling sorry for her, playing the pregnancy card to get her way. If I gave in now, it would set a bad precedent for future vacations and our relationship as a whole. If I gave up the room this time, what would Lisa demand next? And how could I look Emma in the eye knowing I'd put her needs second to Lisa's tantrums? Ryan tried suggesting a compromise, like maybe we could switch rooms halfway through the vacation, but Lisa shot it down without a second thought. Look, Ryan, I seriously need some stability, she insisted, her voice shaking with this fake emotion that was so obvious. This isn't just about me, it's about the baby. If I don't get proper rest, it could mess with my health and harm the baby. I'm sure your wife gets that, right? Everyone turned to me, eyes wide, waiting for what I'd say next. I felt the pressure build up, like a heavy weight pressing down on me. But I knew what was really at stake, so I stuck to my guns. I reminded everyone that we had drawn straws fairly and that Emma's needs came first. Plus, I pointed out that Lisa was fine with her room until she realized we got the better one. Lisa stormed off in tears, leaving everyone to deal with the fallout. Jason shot daggers at me, muttering something about how some people are just heartless, while Ryan's parents gave me these disappointed looks, like I was the troublemaker. The whole thing felt like a nightmare spiraling out of control. And as the days went by, Lisa's behavior only got crazier. She started throwing snide comments whenever Ryan and I were together, hinting at their past fling. She'd laugh and say stuff like, "Oh, Ryan, remember when we used to come to places like this? Those were the days, huh?" Always when Jason wasn't around, trying to drive a wedge between us. One afternoon, we planned a group outing to a nearby nature reserve. It was supposed to be a chill day of hiking and picnicking, something for everyone to enjoy. But as soon as we got there, Lisa started whining about how she couldn't hike in her condition and how we were being thoughtless. Ryan's parents offered to stay back with her, but Lisa insisted she didn't want to ruin the day. "You all go ahead," she said with a forced smile. "Ryan will stay with me. He mentioned having a headache earlier. Right, Ryan?" Ryan, clearly torn, looked at me. He didn't want to leave me alone with Emma, especially after her rough morning. But he also didn't want to upset Lisa. I could see the conflict in his eyes, and it made my blood boil. Why was he letting Lisa play him like this? I was about to say something when Jason stepped in. "No, Ryan, you go with your wife. I'll stay with Lisa," he said firmly. The look on Lisa's face was priceless. She clearly hadn't expected Jason to step up like that. For a moment, I almost felt sorry for her, but then I remembered how she had been trying to use Ryan against me. My sympathy vanished. The hike was beautiful, but I couldn't fully enjoy it. My mind kept drifting back to Lisa and her antics, how she seemed determined to make the vacation all about her. I had this nagging feeling that something was off, that there was more to her behavior than just pregnancy hormones. Why did Ryan keep giving in to her when he could have just cut her off? I didn't get it. That evening, back at the beach house, things finally came to a head. We were all chilling in the living room, chatting and watching a sad telenovela, when Lisa suddenly burst into tears. At first, we all thought it was just another one of her mood swings, and the show was kind of sad. Jason tried to comfort her, but she wouldn't stop crying. Emma, triggered by the noise, started screaming too. It was chaos. Ryan dug through his pockets and pulled out a lollipop. I smiled, hoping it would calm Emma down, but instead of giving it to her, he handed it to Lisa. She stopped crying immediately, leaving only Emma's loud wails. I frowned, disappointed, and looked at Ryan strangely while cuddling Emma. Lisa pulled Ryan over, wrapping her arms around him as she sniffled. I thought it was just another move, but then she dropped a bombshell. "I can't keep this secret anymore," she sobbed. "I'm so sorry, Jason, but the baby isn't yours." The room fell silent. It felt like all the air had been sucked out, leaving a heavy, suffocating stillness. Jason stared at Lisa, confusion and hurt all over his face. "What do you mean?" he asked slowly, as if he didn't want to believe it. Lisa took a deep breath. "It's Ryan," she whispered, bowing her head, but I could see her smug smile. The baby is Ryan's. My heart stopped. I thought I must have misheard her, but the smile on her face told me she was telling the truth. Ryan looked as shocked as I felt. What are you talking about, Lisa? He demanded, anger rising in his voice. How could the baby possibly be mine? Lisa quickly switched to tears, like she was a paid actress. She talked about how, during a rough patch in her marriage with Jason, she and Ryan had reconnected briefly, just for one night. It had been a moment of weakness, a mistake she now regretted more than anything. I couldn't breathe. My whole world felt like it was crumbling. I looked at Ryan, searching his face for some sign that this was all a terrible misunderstanding. Lisa was a liar, and if he said she was lying, I'd believe him. But all I saw was shock and disbelief. Jason's reaction was even worse. He stood up, his face turning red with rage. You slept with my brother? He shouted, his voice shaking with fury. After everything we've been through, you did this to me? Ryan was still frozen in place, unable to move. The worst part, the look on Ryan's face told me everything I needed to know. She wasn't lying, yet I had to ask, when did that happen? She smirked, counting on her fingers. A rainy night in June. I tried to do the math, wondering where I was when it went down. Only one night stood out to me, when Emma had a major meltdown. It was so bad I had to take her to the pediatric unit. Ryan had said he was working overnight, and it was pouring rain, and I told him not to come over. But guess what? He was already knee-deep in someone else. Specifically, Lisa. Ryan tried to explain himself, but before he could get a word out, I slapped Lisa right across the face. I was absolutely livid, and nothing mattered at that moment except the betrayal. Seriously, how could she do this to me and our family? And how could he? All I saw was red. Ryan tried to come closer, but I totally lost it. I swung at him, punched him, pushed him, anything to get him away from me. The guy I trusted, my supposed partner in everything, had betrayed me in the worst possible way with the very woman he always told me not to worry about. This all happened years ago, but Ryan's parents eventually got involved, and that's when things got even crazier. His mom had the nerve to tell me I was overreacting and needed to calm down. I was in shock. Overreacting? My husband just got his brother's wife pregnant, and I'm the one overreacting? Then, to make it even worse, Ryan's mom starts going on about how we need to think about what's best for everyone. And by everyone, she means Lisa, the baby, and apparently them. She even suggested that maybe this baby is fate because our daughter Emma has been challenging, and this new baby might be easier or more normal. I couldn't believe my ears. Was she seriously saying Emma isn't normal, and that this affair and betrayal were somehow okay because of our daughter's challenges? My hands were shaking, and I felt like I was going to be sick. Ryan finally snapped out of his shock and tried to defend Emma, but his mom wouldn't back down. She kept insisting we needed to be reasonable and think about the future. I was done. I couldn't take any more of this madness. I grabbed my keys, pulled Emma along, and bolted for the door. Ryan tried to stop me, saying we needed to talk, but there was nothing left to say. He made his choice when he slept with Lisa, and now he can live with it. I left the beach house without looking back, barely able to start the car because I was shaking so badly. I just drove, trying to put as much distance as possible between myself and the wreckage of my marriage. So, Reddit, am I an idiot for losing it and leaving after finding out my husband is the father of my sister-in-law's baby? I'm devastated and beyond angry, but part of me wonders if I should have handled it differently, or if my reaction was justified. Right now, I'm holed up in a nearby hotel, and my bags are still at the vacation house. Emma finally calmed down and is sleeping soundly, but tomorrow is a new day, and I have no idea what to do. Technically, I'm giving Lisa what she wants by leaving my room and Ryan behind.